Welcome to the channel and welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, keeping you right up to date with everything. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So there's been a massive update coming out from Fabrizio Romano regarding Matheus Cunha, which we're going to kick off with. So Manchester United are now closing in on Matheus Cunha deal. The Brazilian has accepted the project as agreement on personal terms is now being finalised, almost done. Final details to sort between all parties involved, and then here we go. So we know the hold up with the Matheus Cunha, or the kind of scenario with the Matheus Cunha deal is we've got to agree personal terms first and get that kind of agreed and done because he's got a release clause. So we know the price for Matheus Cunha. We don't have to negotiate any kind of fees or anything like that at all. We know Wolves are willing to accept installments. We might still need to work on, the details of those kind of installment payments and stuff as well. So, but, the kind of main hold up on the news was regarding personal terms, but according to Fabrizio Romano himself, personal terms have been accepted and is now being finalised, so almost done. And then once those kind of deals get done and dusted, then effectively it will be a here we go, because like I said, we know Wolves are going to accept installments. We want to pay by installments for his release clause. We're happy to pay the full release clause as well. Maybe we'll do a little bit more like we did with Xerxes in order to spread those costs out over a period. Who knows? But massively exciting that the deal is finally after. I mean, it's not exactly a surprise because we've known that we've been getting Matheus Cunha for a couple of weeks, but that's always been the kind of hold up, is we needed to get those personal terms agreed. And when Morano comes out and say we're closing in on that deal, that's a big update. So it's just a case of time now. It's just a matter of time, but it sounds like it's going to be going through as well. So smash a like on the video if you're excited to see United move and also get Matheus Cunha. And let me know in the comments why you wouldn't. We'll go through the kind of rest of the news, and then we'll go through, what he's going to bring or potentially bring to the club. Manchester United also considered Cunha's price to be fair, not excessive. Internally, he has been approved by all decision makers at the club, all believing he can be a perfect signing. So again, Fabrizio Romano, that was on his daily news column on Give Me Sport, saying that, they consider the price to be fair and not excessive, and it's been approved by all the decision makers at the club. So that will be Amram, Wilcox, Bivol, Sir Jim, Bill Glazer is still involved. All of those, all signing off on the deal, and they see him as the perfect signing as well. But give us your shouts in the comments and what you kind of think about that. I think he's he's 26 next week, so at the good age, Premier League proven, experience, plays in the system. Wolves play the very similar system, the 3-4-3 or the 3-4-2-1, however you kind of describe it. The concerns are, the walking stat that I bought you, that is a concern. But, the way I look at that is Ruben Amram's got Garnacho working harder and tracking back a lot more as well. So clearly he's not going to be, it's something that can be worked on. That attitude with the red cards this season, but that isn't a regular occurrence. That has just happened this season. It's not a regular thing for him as well. And plus, we do need players, I think, with a little bit of passion, because, we have been watching, effectively robots a lot of sometimes as well. Some players that just look like they don't care on the pitch as well. So, but it is a concern. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in Cunha as well. It wasn't just us in the race for him. We had talks about Newcastle, Arsenal. So clearly, we've offered him some kind of project, maybe more financially as well, a bit higher wages. Belief is he's a United fan as well. So, it's a good kind of deal. I'm excited by it as well for those reasons. I can't remember the last time. Well, Mason Mount would be the last time we signed a Premier League player in their kind of prime, but he doesn't have the injury record, which I'm going to update you in a second as well. But yeah, I'm massively excited by this deal as well. So what are we getting? 34 appearances for Wolves this season, 17 goals and 6 assists. What would we give for anybody that's got anywhere near those numbers in the United team right now? Because, our forward is the massive problem at the club. Yes, there are other problems in the team and in the squad, the goalkeeper, the midfield. We've all got kind of we've all got different opinions on where we think the team should be strengthening as well. But I think anyone with half an eye knows that the attack and the forward, the lack of goals in this team is embarrassing. And Matheus Cunha will kind of bring you that. Like I said, 17 goals, 6 assists in the Premier League for Wolves is not a bad record, but he's done that consistently as well, because last season he got very similar numbers as well, 36 total appearances, 14 goals and 8 assists. So it's not like a one season wonder. He's done it consistently over 2 seasons now with Matheus Cunha. He's at that kind of age where, he's still got improvement and development as well. And I think is a ready to go kind of signing that a lot of us have been asking for as well. You want someone with experience and, can take that kind of mantle of being a goal scorer up front as well. And I think actually watching some of the games and highlights and stuff, he does create a lot more chances as well, but nobody is there to put the ball in the back of the net for some of his chances as well. So I actually think he's a little bit more creative than what the numbers kind of say. But yeah, I'm massively excited for Matheus Cunha to be coming in as well. And as I mentioned earlier, his injury record is fantastic. Touch wood, don't want to jinx it. But yeah, clearly, like he is one of these kind of players where, I can't remember the last time we bought a player in their prime without that many concerns that had the kind of goal contributions that Matheus Cunha has as well. And it just feels a little bit like we're going maybe back to our roots, which is signing some of the best players in the Premier League that are kind of low risk, because it's a lot of money to pay for a player. £62.5 million is his release clause. But you know what you're getting with him, and he can handle it in the league. He can play against the defenders in the league as well. If you're spending that sort of money on someone from Italy or from Germany or another kind of league, you don't know what you're going to be getting, because until you step foot on the Premier League and you're up against some of the best defenders around, the physicality, the pace, and everything like that as well, is always a question mark as well. We're not getting that with I'm not going to get that with Matheus Cunha. So I rate the signing. I like the signing. Hopefully he comes in and does what he's been doing at Wolves, because if we do, to add an attacker that's got 20 goal contributions in them will be massive for this team, because my God, we need goals. And I do think that Matheus Cunha, with his kind of record, so you don't never know for sure until they put on the red shirt. And but I do think he's got the kind of right mentality and attitude and everything, where he's going to be a success. So let me know your thoughts though in the comments. Give us your kind of thoughts on Matheus Cunha. Good signing, bad signing, concerns, no concerns. Give us your shouts below, and I'll enjoy reading those later. Let's move on to some other news. So Fabrizio Romano also said the door is open to one more signing for the number 10 position, to have one more player able to play behind the striker based on what happens. Also with the outgoing. So Fabrizio Romano again confirming, there's been loads of stories recently regarding United wanting striker. There's update on him as well. Obviously, the Gyokeres stories has been kind of going crazy over the last couple of days. We know Liam Delap is seen as the number one kind of prime target, but then also we've been linked with Semenyo recently as well, and Mbeumo, another player in the number 10 position as well. So it looks like United are going all out attack for the attack, which I am here for, because I do think that is the number one problem with United at the moment is the attack. But yeah, massively exciting that Romano's also saying that we are maybe interested in another number 10 as well. So 2 attackers and a striker. I think that's the minimum required to kind of help us in that area as well. And then obviously depending on sales and budget and Champions League and stuff, work backwards from their midfield, and then maybe a defender or maybe a goalkeeper, depending on obviously what would depend on the player sales and budgets and stuff as well. Now, one of the players we've been linked with for that number 10 position is Mastantuono. So Jason Wilcox is doing everything in his power to convince Franco Mastantuono to transfer to Manchester United next summer. It remains to be seen whether Manchester United can get the deal done, but he is a top target for Wilcox and United. So again, caught offside. There's actually TBR Football, I think the story came from, which is the same place where I brought you the news yesterday. It wasn't from Graham Bailey, but it was from one of the other journalists. So I would say, let's take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt for now. But we know Mastantuono is a player of interest. We know that there's loads of reports linking us with him, that we're in talks. And, but according to that, Jason Wilcox is doing everything in his power to convince Mastantuono to come to United. So that could be potentially one to keep an eye on. But remember, the report yesterday was saying that it might not be until 2026 because he doesn't turn 18 until the end of August. So we'll need to potentially keep an eye keep an eye on that and see how it goes. But to win the race, you've got to be in the race, and I do think that he is a player that we would love to try and get. But whether we're going to do it this season or next season, who knows? We'll have to obviously wait and see as well. But that potentially is one player, maybe for the forward position as well. Now another one is Mbeumo. Now this story, I'm going to say, take with a wedge of salt, not just a pinch of salt. Manchester United have made an offer of 65 million euros, so 54 million pounds for Brentford's Cameroonian striker Bryan Mbeumo, 25, who has a year left on his current contract. Now, the reason I'm saying take that with a big pinch of salt is it came from Vichares, who are one of the worst sources of information out there as well, and are not very credible at all. But this has been doing the rounds on other kind of, like I read this in the BBC, believe it or not. But then when you trace the story back, it's all coming from one of the worst sources of information out there as well. So I would say take that with, like I said, I'd want to wait for way more credibility before getting excited regarding that one. But Mbuemo is a player that we have been linked with. Whether we're going to get him or not, Semenyo's another one we've been linked with as well. Mastantuono, we've just mentioned there as well. Another one could be Rayan Cherki. Again, we've been linked with. So Romano is saying, I expect English clubs to return for Rayan Cherki. He's confirmed in one of his press conferences that he is going to be leaving Lyon. We know there's a deal there around 20 to 25 million pounds as well, which would be an absolute bargain, in my opinion, for a player of his kind of age and profile and quality as well. So there's plenty of kind of options as well. So it does look like, going off the reports today and from decent sources like Romano, you don't get more credible than Fabrizio Romano coming out, that United are going all out attack for the attack as well. And I'm here for that all day. Like, imagine if we got, a striker, and they'll go into the striker news in a second. Matheus Cunha, pretty much effectively almost done going off of those reports, I would say now. And then another of either Mbeumo, Cherki, Mastantuono. We've been linked with Eze in the past, Xavi Simons as well. This is where we're getting all those kind of links from, or reports from. So if we do get like 3 forwards, that would be insane. That would massively improve our front line as well. I think it'd just be a case of cost, availability, who wants to come, who doesn't, because we are going to have players that don't want to come to United, would maybe prefer to go to other clubs because of their, position and stability and stuff like that as well. But massively kind of, exciting for me to be, improve in that particular area of the pitch. Yes, we need others, but there's more transfer news I'm going to go through now. But again, give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. Now, obviously, the talk of the town over the last couple of days has been Viktor Gyökeres. So again, Romano has come out saying Sporting will give the green light for Viktor Gyökeres to leave the club for a total package worth £54.6 million. Now, that seems almost too good to be true for a player of Viktor Gyökeres' quality. He scored like over 100 goals in the last 2 seasons. Like, the guy is an absolute machine. Good age, experience, knows Amorim. Like, there's so many positives, I think, for going for Viktor Gyökeres. But also, Romano had the following to say. So this is following on from yesterday's news when it was kind of reported that United where Romano was saying United remain interested in Viktor Gyökeres. So in his video last night, he also said the following: the Premier League remains the most likely destination for Viktor Gyökeres this summer. Manchester United still remain strongly interested. Keep an eye on this in the next weeks and days. So Fabrizio Romano saying, he did say that Arsenal were the two, so he's saying that effectively Premier League is the most likely destination for Viktor Gyökeres, and it's effectively between Arsenal and United at the moment for Romano saying that we remain strongly interested. Arsenal are the other team reportedly strongly interested. Obviously, there could be others that come to the plate as well. Chelsea need a striker, so I wouldn't rule out them doing some kind of shenanigans and going for a player that we're linked with and stealing him from under our noses, because that's Chelsea. But there is no smoke without fire. And Romano saying that, Gyökeres wants to go, that's effectively is most likely to come to the Premier League. And then also saying that it's between us and Arsenal, and it's a case of, maybe if we get Champions League football, do we push the boat out for Gyökeres? If we don't, is that where Liam Delap becomes the alternative as well? So we'll have to obviously wait and see how it plays out. We'll know more in the next few days as well, because my God, I hope we win that final. I'm getting a little bit more excited, actually. My nerves have settled down a little bit the more the kind of days go on. I'm getting more and more excited about the game on Wednesday as well, and the more kind of optimistic I'm feeling regarding it. But yeah, so the more the kind of better the more if we win that game, Champions League money might mean that we push the boat out for Gyokeres as well, because there is no smoke without fire. And like I said, Romano's coming. This is Romano coming out with it. This isn't like gossipy kind of outlets and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's yeah, one to definitely keep an eye on. But I'd love your thoughts and opinion on the number 10, the forwards, the striker situation, Viktor Gyökeres. What are we kind of feeling? What are we thinking? Give us your thoughts and your feelings on that in the comments. Because I'd be interested to hear what you've got to say regarding that. So and then let's move on to an exit story. So Corriere dello Sport and not letting up on the links with Joshua Zirkzee to Inter Milan, saying that Inter Milan is set to make a loan offer for Manchester United's Joshua Zirkzee. Offer will include an option to buy for 35 million euros. And again, they've done a report the other day saying that Inter Milan might be interested. I've heard like a few mixed stories regarding Milan and their interest in Zirkzee. Some saying yes, and some saying that actually he's not a player of interest to them. But Fiorentina have been linked as well. Juventus have been linked as well. So, we're looking to improve the forward line in terms of the number 10s and get a striker in. Questions need to be asked around our current kind of forwards. And is Zirkzee one that maybe Amrim's thought, well, I don't really see a place in the team for him. Personally, I wouldn't. I like Joshua Zirkzee. I would keep Joshua Zirkzee ahead of Rasmus Højlund any day of the week as well, although there's an argument to say maybe a loan for Højlund would do his career a little bit of a reboot and a reboost as well. So, but yeah, we are going to need to pay attention with what happens with the forwards. But effectively, I said this the other day, we are 3 forwards light already with Antony, Sancho and Rashford. So we need to bring 2 in just to replace the 3 that we're potentially looking to sell as well. But yeah, we'll bring you any more updates, but give us your thoughts and shouts on Joshua Zirkzee. And then the final story I've got for you is Leny Yoro. So Leny Yoro has returned to grass training, working super hard, and injury isn't seen as serious from last week. Race against time whether he makes it for the final, but sources say they are amazed with his work rate since the injury, and the Musketeers and a few other kind of places have come out suggesting that maybe Leny Yoro might be back in time for the Europa League final, which would be a massive boost for us as well. I think he's been outstanding recently, Leny Yoro. In terms of his defending, but also his progress and bringing the ball out, running out of defence with the ball as well, which I think is a massive asset of his as well. So that will massively be a boost for us to to get him back in amongst the kind of team. And then there's no real update on other players at the time of recording this video. There's reports that maybe De Ligt might be back and available for maybe the bench. There is reports maybe Zirkzee could be back in time to make the bench as well. But I'll bring you any updates regarding the team news if it comes out. But that's all your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you in the next one.